The Commodore Amiga is the best.
So this time I'm going to be looking at my AlfaPower external hard drive that I bought back in the 1990s. I remember my credit card wouldn't go through online. I ended up going down to Wembley to pick this thing up, and the guy actually put it together as I was waiting. You can see underneath there is my original Amiga 500 that I also had. This was the first one I owned, and as you can see, it's yellowed quite nicely. Definitely got a bit of a suntan going on. So if we look at the AlfaPower itself, very nice metal construction. Just slots into the side of the 500. Originally I thought I only got a 20 megabyte hard drive in this, but obviously I've got 120 megabytes. Before I get into that, I just want to have a look, because I know I fitted some memory to this before I bought the hard drive. The first thing I did was obviously upgrade the memory, because the amount of games that required 1 mega memory, so this was kind of like a must-have. Now this is a Datel Ram Master II, and for some reason, I don't know why, but it has this little lead going off into the computer. I just thought it was a card that slotted in. So there we go, Datel Ram Master II. As you can see, the battery backup is definitely on its way out. It's starting to bubble the tracks up there, so that needs to come out sooner rather than later. So I'll do a video on that shortly, just replacing the battery with something less corrosive. You can see even on the bottom there, it's starting to bubble the tracks up. The Amiga 500 there, I don't know if you saw it, but that's it's an original West Germany version. I'm just going to take the top off and have a look and see where them two leads are going to inside. Because again, I'm curious, like, it's been so long. I obviously fitted this back in the early 1990s, and I haven't really been into it since. So interestingly, that's going to the Gary chip. And you can see it's just two wires going into a little separate printed circuit board. Now if I pull this off and have a closer look, so it looks like that's going to some pins, but then it also looks like other pins are kind of linked out, obviously to allow it to use this fast memory. So I'll just reinsert it for now and see if I can find some information online about this. Unfortunately, I don't have the original manuals for it anymore. As I say, it was, must have been 1991, 1992 I think I installed this. So yeah, unfortunately I didn't keep the paperwork for it. Just put my shielding back on again. So all I can find online is this website. I put a link in my description below, and it just says that it fits in a trapdoor. If you don't put that connection in for the Gary chip, all you get is the 512 kilobytes. So with it, it lets you go up to 1.5 megabytes. This Amiga 500 has 2 megabytes of memory right now. The AlfaPower is quite a sturdy little beast, made of metal. Just going to break this seal. So again, this hasn't been taken apart since it was put together back in the early 1990s. So it'd be interesting to have a look inside and just see what's in there and what we can do with it. So that little port on the back there, originally I thought, has it got a MIDI port as well? But that's just for the power. So again, depending on what you've got set up in here, you might want to go external power and trying to draw it all out of the Amiga. Just going to remove this top cover right now with these two switches. So again, what's good with this, them two switches on the top allow you to engage or disengage the hard drive. And again, if you've got memory, engage or disengage the memory, depending on what the requirements are. You see it's quite tight to get this little hard drive bracket out here, but it does come out. And you can see there to the left, that's all the unpopulated memory. Just going up here slowly. You had a little ROM chip down there. What I like as well on the printed circuit board itself, it does actually explain what the jumpers are and what configuration you need them in to be able to, depending on what configuration you've got. The other thing I didn't realise, it's got a second ATA strip there, so I can add a second hard drive to this if I want quite easily, which is a very handy thing to know. And you can see, like, it's very well built, nice construction. So currently the way I've got this set up is obviously using the internal Amiga memory and configured for no memory inserted. I managed to find this online, again link below. So really what I want to look up is my memory and external power supply, what my requirements are. As you can see, the first part of this is in German, the second part's in English. So I'm just at the English part here. Just going to have a look at the RAM upgrade. So again, it's just explaining inserting the RAM, but it doesn't actually specify what kind of RAM you need. Now I believe it's something called zip chips that needs to go in there. Because looking at that configuration, it looks kind of odd. It almost looks like they're flat strips that go in there. Also, just looking at the power requirements for this. So again, I found this part of the manual where it explains what voltages are needed, but it doesn't explain where the pinouts are for them. But then I did find this down here, which does go into more detail of what pins and what voltages are required. So that's something for the future when I do add in, so I want to add in more memory, add another hard drive in here, probably go a CF card rather than an actual hard drive. For now I'm just going to put this back together again and just have a little play about, see what I've actually got on my hard drive here. So obviously the first thing you've got to do with an Amiga 500, as you saw in the introduction, is have a little play around with the speech, built-in speech synthesizer.
The Commodore Amiga is the best.
Which is still fantastic. So several videos back I had a look at my Amiga 1200, and one of the things I did, completely unmodified 1200, just played the intro to Elite Frontier. So I just wanted to compare the two together and just see, bearing in mind this is now a 2 meg Amiga 500, that's a 2 meg Amiga 1200, just see how it plays the videos and have a comparison. as we can see there, the Amiga 1200, much smoother animation compared to the 500. At some points, the 500 just looks like a flick book. But again, bearing in mind it is able to play it. Obviously, the more stuff on screen, the harder it has at rendering it. But for a computer from the early 90s, it's quite amazing. So I think we'll leave this video here for now. As I say, in the future I want to upgrade my memory in this, put a second hard drive in it, just see what else we can do with it, and maybe even increase the speed of the 500, just see what we can get that to do. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you like this. Please like and subscribe if you do, and I'll see you on the next one.